Hello, welcome back. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a kit review today. Not something I've really done on my channel, historically anyway, but I figure with me starting back into this wild camping thing and buying lots of new kit as I go, I figured I may as well share my thoughts and opinions on things with the world of YouTube. Why not? So to kick off with, I'm going to have a look at the Alpkit Cloud Base sleeping mat. That'll focus. There you go. Vital bit of kit when you're wild camping, as we all know. You need to be comfortable, you need to be warm. So it's not something that I would usually want to scrimp and save on. However, I had something blindsided me. Anybody who's watched my previous video will see that I've just bought an MLD Duomid in DCF, which I wasn't expecting to buy. So I had to rethink my plans for sleeping mat, but I needed something to tide me over, but I didn't want to spend a huge amount of money. I had a look around. There's the Trekology UL80, I think it is, something like that. That seems to be very, very heavy, although it does get very good reviews. But looking around, I figured best sort of budget, bang for buck I could get my hands on was this Alpkit Cloud Base. I've liked Alpkit from the very start, really, right back to when they had a little tiny industrial unit tucked away around the back of a Nottinghamshire mining village. You know, I've had a fair bit of their kit over the years. I've tried their walking poles, their pegs, some of their clothing, that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd give this a try. £44, that's all it cost, £44. I popped over to the shop in Hathersage, picked one up, £44. So I'm not expecting a great deal from it. I'm well aware that this is very much a budget sleeping mat. So let's do some stats. So it weighs, all in as it comes, it weighs 430 grams. That's with the stuff sack, the big heavy toggling cord and everything on. And there's also in there a small repair kit, a patch and some glue, and also a little instruction leaflet as well. And the whole lot comes in at 430 grams, which isn't bad. That's really not bad for someone who's focused on lightweight stuff. If you're trying to save some weight, then this is great. Pack size, it's very small, 27 centimeters end to end, as I've got it rolled up there, about 10.5 inches, something like that. And then crossways, when it's compressed, I mean, there's no there really, is there? I think you're looking at about 9 centimeters was the best sort of average I could come up with, which is about 3.5 inches. But realistically, it'll probably squish smaller than that. And also, of course, you've got the option of folding it, taking it out of the bag altogether and folding it flat and sliding it down the back of your pack, which is my preferred way of carrying these things. But, however, just to roll up, chuck in a stuff sack for 430 grams that packs nice and small, I think is fantastic. So let's have a look and see what we get in the pack. So when you open the bag, obviously the first thing that comes out is the mat, which we'll look at in a minute. Give it a little shake. And then in there we've got a little baggie, which comes with an instruction leaflet, which is fairly sort of self-explanatory. Usual sort of Alpkit style, where it's done in a quite a cool sort of way. Gives you a little synopsis, and then in there you get 2 lightweight patches, should you get a puncture, and a little tiny tube of nondescript glue. I'm assuming it's something along the lines of Silnet, something like that. And they sit in the bag. Now that little kit there, with the instruction leaflet included, only comes to like 7 grams. So take that leaflet out, you're probably looking at a little 5 gram repair kit. I carry assorted patches and glue and sort of things in my essentials bag in my first aid kit, for if ever I get a hole in a ground sheet or a sleeping mat. So that would just add to that, 5-6 grams at the most. And the stuff sack itself weighs about 7 or 8 grams, I think, or 9 grams, something like that. So the mat on its own, should you just want to take the mat, is actually only 414 grams, which for a budget mat isn't bad. However, it's all right being light, but is it comfortable? That's the question. Let's get it out and we'll have a look at how it blows up and what it looks like when it's fully inflated. So I've got this in my Nature Hike Cloud Peak 2, just because it's nice to show you it in a tent. So when we throw this out, it's a long mat. I believe, if I remember rightly, the manufacturer's measurement is given at 189 centimetres, which most standard mats are about 183. So for me, being a tall chap at 190 centimetres, this also fit the bill, as in it fit me, or it should do in theory. So when you open it out, it doesn't feel flimsy, it doesn't feel like it's going to sort of tear easily or anything like that. It does feel fairly tough. You've got the Alpkit cloud-based logo at one end, and at the other end you've got a fairly simple valve system, which is pretty good as a non-return valve. You've got this little flap in here which you can just push out the way to deflate, but that actually sits up, especially if you just push your finger in behind it, you can blow it up quite easily, and you don't lose any air as you're doing so. And then obviously seals shut with the stopper there. When I say blow it up, this doesn't come with an inflation sac like many other mats do, so you are blowing it up with your mouth. And I have to say I've used this twice, and both times, once it's inflated, within a very short space of time I can see condensation forming inside the mat. Longevity wise, I would suggest that's probably going to cause mildew, etc. in there fairly quickly. But what I've done when I've not been using it, I've left it opened out, and I've left this valve tucked open like that, and I've left it lying flat just to get as much air sort of venting naturally out of it as I can. We'll see, that's going to be a time will tell thing, but ideally it would be better if it was inflated with a little with a pump sac, but budget mat. So if we are going to inflate it by our mouth, how long does it take? I think I counted 10 breaths. Let's have a go. So there we go, fully inflated, realistically 10 breaths. 9 felt firm, but I found that an extra bit of huff in there just gives it a little bit more structure and a little bit firmer, and obviously seals nicely with that valve at the top. Now then, at the bottom, sorry, getting it the wrong way around, aren't I? Cloud-based logos at the top. So having slept on this, what do I think of it? Well, you know, it's not bad. It's really not bad. Obviously, you've got all these individual air chambers in here, which traps little pockets of air in here, which gives you actually some insulation. You see what I mean there? So you've got your main pocket of air, but in these little channels here, when you're lying on it, you get little pockets of air trapped in there, which do keep some warmth in. There is no insulation in this mat at all. I don't know what the R value is. It's probably 1 at the very most. Having used it in anger on Kinder Scout the other night, whilst it wasn't cold, I did wake up at one point the other night with my legs had come off the mat, and I could notice the difference. I was feeling very cold around my legs. As soon as I put them back on the mat, within a few minutes it felt a lot warmer. Whether that was psychological, I don't know, but I definitely think that these little channels do hold in some warmth when you're on them. Comfort wise, I'm a side sleeper. It was all right. It was okay. Certainly wasn't an uncomfortable night's sleep, and Again, I'm looking at it from the point of view that it's a budget mat. It's £44 in comparison to 150, 170, £200 that you could pay for some of the bigger boy mats, especially in size large, the same size as this, at nearly 190 centimetres. You're going to be paying a lot more money for something decent in inverted commas. But I think for a 40 quid mat, I think it's absolutely fine. It wasn't the most comfortable night's sleep in the world, but then again, I was sleeping on top of a mountain on some very bumpy ground. What do I expect, really? But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. I would say, I'd go so far as to say, for the money, I'd say it was damn good. I've heard a lot of negative stuff about this, but I'm very much of the opinion that it's very cheap. You get what you pay for, and in this case, you're getting a bargain, I think. Let's have a look at lengthwise. I've got a handy tape measure here. So, fully inflated, I'm measuring that at 180. Yeah, I've got about 187 centimetres there, I would say. 189 if you count the little seams on the edge. So 187 centimetres, and at the widest point, it's about 57 centimetres, something like that wide. So it's not small. It's a good size. And like I say, I'm 6'3", and it worked well for me. You want me to lie in it now, don't you? And show you what it looks like with a person lying on it? Give me a minute. So there you go, actual human person lying on a sleeping mat. Like some kind of Renaissance painting. Anyway, so if I put my head right to the top and stretch my legs right out, my feet are just tickling over the edge, and I'm 190 centimetres tall. Nothing too much to worry about. But yeah, as a side sleeper, I find this comfortable enough. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. The other thing that I did notice, which I wasn't expecting, was during the night I haven't had to pump any more air into it. It hasn't lost any air overnight. Once it's up, which I thought was really good. Whether that'll last, I don't know, but certainly the twice that I've used it, it's stayed up. Once inflated, it's stayed inflated. I haven't had to sort of top it up through the night, which has been good. So, would I recommend this? You know what? For 40 quid, yes, I would, without a doubt. I haven't compared it to any of the others. The Trekology one, I haven't tried that one. I know that gets good reviews, but I'm sure that weighs a lot more than this. I'm sure it's about 650 grams or something like that. Although that may be slightly insulated, I don't know. There's another one called an Antur, A-N-T-U-R, which is a similar sort of design to this. It might actually be from the same factory. It's got the same sort of cell design. But for ease of access, Alpkit have got a few shops kicking around now, mail order, 44 quid. I know I keep saying that, but I don't think you can go wrong for that kind of money. As an entry-level summer mat, late spring, early autumn possibly, but definitely summer, I think it's absolutely fine. If you're going to push it beyond that, you might just want to put some kind of an insulating sheet underneath it, whether it be an emergency foil blanket or one of those picnic blankets, the foil coated picnic blankets that a lot of people seem to use. One of those in there, but for something that packs down really small, because your alternatives for that kind of money, for that sort of 30-40 quid mark, you're looking at something like one of these self-inflating mats. I mean, this one's what's this one? It's a Carrymore Explorer. I've had this for years. Self-inflating mat, open the valve, maybe stick a couple of breaths in. This is actually quite comfortable, and it is pretty warm. I mean, I've slept out in some, if you look at my older videos on my YouTube channel, I've slept out in some really cold conditions with this, and it has kept me pretty warm. The only trouble is, it's really bulky. I mean, that's about as small as you're going to get it, realistically, and it weighs about 700 grams, and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. So for about the same kind of money, you can either have 700 grams, a load of bulk, maybe a little bit of warmth, or 400 grams, a tiny little pack size, and a fairly comfortable night on the hill. So yeah, if you're after a cheap entry-level mat just to get you through summer, just to have a go at wild camping, maybe it's your first time out, you just want to get something to give you a try and don't want to spend a lot of money, I would strongly recommend you give this a look. Yeah, I think it's all right. That's all right. That's my opinion. So that's my first kit review. I'd like to know what you think, to be honest. If you've got this mat and you've got any thoughts on it, please share them with me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Or any other recommendations other than the Trekology or the Antor, or perhaps if you tried both, or a combination of any of those three, that would be nice to see how they compare. But yeah, and also if you like the review, give us a thumbs up and let me know, please. I'm planning on doing some more, whether you like the format of what I've done here, whether I can do it any better. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys, and thanks for listening or watching my review on the Alpkit cloud-based sleeping mat. Cheers now, take care, bye bye.